Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We are delivering a letter to employees of Martin Baker and residents of Laurel Road. We have no issue with Martin Baker and its deployment of equipment, testing and support for other aircraft. But by supplying parts for F-35 planes used in Israel to indiscriminately bomb Gaza civilians and communities, journalists, medical professionals, educators, children and British aid workers, despite the findings of the International Court of Justice that there's evidence of genocide being committed by Israel, you are complicit in these war crimes. We know this as Martin Baker Limited is named by the Campaign Against Arms Trade. Also, the Dutch Supreme Court ruled that supply of F-35 parts must be halted due to a clear risk of grave violations of international law. F-35s are being used for violations and there are grounds to refuse the export of parts. The government's defence was dismissed. UN's Human Rights Council resolved to call on nations to stop selling arms to Israel to prevent rights violations against Palestinians. Human Rights Watch says the order to Israel should cause the UK government to halt arms exports to Israel. Due to the court finding a risk of genocide, the UK has an obligation to prevent genocide and not be complicit. Martin Baker workers could be prosecuted for working on Israeli arms. Employees can be liable under UK law. Already, some civil service employees have requested to stop work over arms sales to Israel, citing legal jeopardy faced by civil servants. Following government's instructions is not a defence from charges of war crimes. According to International Criminal Court Rome Statute, Chair of the Commons Foreign Affairs Select Committee, Alicia Kern stated, the government assessed whether Israel is demonstrating a commitment to international humanitarian law and concluded that Israel is not demonstrating this commitment. The Foreign Office suspended 30 arms export licenses to Israel after clear risks they could be used to violate humanitarian law, including exports of fighter aircraft components. The United Nations Human Rights Council resolved to call nations to stop selling arms to Israel to prevent rights violations against Palestinians. Human Rights Watch says that this order to Israel should cause the UK government to halt arms exports to Israel due to a risk of genocide. The UK has an obligation to prevent genocide and not be complicit. Our local members and friends and family know that Martin Baker provides jobs. However, they share our concern about supply of parts used to carry out human rights violations. Please don't underestimate the stress that we and our neighbours are feeling. Seeing the images from Gaza, including that of 7-year-old Sidra, whose lifeless body was found overhanging a building after it was bombed by a missile. We realise there are aircraft manufacturers on our doorstep aiding in mass airstrikes, causing killing and destruction. We trust that you are committed to saving lives and halting supplies to Israel. We would appreciate a meeting with Martin Baker in the next 2 weeks to discuss this. Yours sincerely, East Berkshire PSC, Brenton Harrow PSC, and the Chair of Hillingdon PSC.